Object of outer space is approaching. Red alert!
Attention everyone! Danger warning! Danger!
April 13th, 2029. Not the end of the world. No prophecy. No mysterious signal from deep space. Just a massive asteroid racing through the darkness, and within hours it will pass closer to Earth than any object of its size in recorded modern history. Its name is Apophis. In 2004, when astronomers first calculated its orbit, they discovered a number that sent a chill around the world, a 2.7% chance of impact. Not zero, not nearly impossible, but 1 in 37. On the global asteroid hazard scale, Apophis once reached level 4, one of the highest ratings ever recorded. If it were to strike Earth in 2029, the energy released would equal hundreds of megatons of TNT. A city could vanish in seconds. An ocean impact could generate tsunamis across entire continents. But the real question is not simply will it hit? The real question is, if it did, what would humanity face? 1. What is Apophis and why did it once frighten the world? Apophis is not the largest asteroid ever discovered. It measures about 340 meters across roughly the height of the Eiffel Tower. But what makes it extraordinary is not its size, it's its orbit. Apophis circles the Sun in just 323 days shorter than an Earth year, and its path crosses Earth's orbit. That means on a predictable cycle, it comes very close to our planet. In 2029, it will pass just about 31,000 kilometers above Earth's surface. At that distance, it will shine like a moving star in the night sky. Closer than many of the satellites orbiting our planet, a cosmic rock weighing tens of billions of kilograms, gliding right past Earth. Fortunately, updated calculations confirm it will not collide in 2029. But in the final months of 2004, the world genuinely believed that impact was possible. And if those early calculations had been correct, human history might have taken a very different path. 2. The closest approach of the century. On April 13th, 2029, there will be no explosion. But it will be one of the rare moments in history when humanity can look up and see a potential cosmic threat with the naked eye. Apophis will pass Earth at a distance of about 31,000 kilometers closer than many of the satellites orbiting our planet. At that range, Earth's gravity will be strong enough to slightly alter its trajectory and may even affect its rotation. For a few hours, a rock weighing tens of billions of kilograms will glide across the sky, shining like a moving star. No impact, but close enough to remind us of something profound. Space is not distant, and Earth is not isolated from the risks of the universe. 3. What if the orbit changes? Right now, orbital calculations show that Apophis will pass safely by Earth. But in space, even the smallest change can lead to enormous consequences. An unusual gravitational interaction, a subtle solar radiation effect building up over years, a minor collision with another piece of debris. If its path shifted by just a fraction of a degree at a critical moment, Apophis could pass through what scientists call a gravitational keyhole, a narrow region in space where Earth's gravity would alter its orbit just enough to set up a more dangerous return in the future. This isn't science fiction, it's pure orbital mechanics. That's why every close approach becomes a calculation that truly matters. What do you think? If there were even a 1% chance of impact in the future, should humanity invest everything in planetary defense or accept the risk as part of living in a dynamic universe? Share your thoughts below. 4. If Apophis struck Earth. If Apophis were to collide with Earth, the estimated energy release would be around 880 megatons of TNT. For comparison, the atomic bomb dropped on Hiroshima in 1945 had a yield of about 0.015 megatons. Apophis would be tens of thousands of times more powerful. Within seconds of impact, a massive fireball would form at the strike point. A shockwave would spread outward at supersonic speed, crushing buildings within a radius of dozens of kilometers. Intense thermal radiation could ignite widespread fires, vaporize water, and incinerate everything near ground zero. The ground would shake like a major earthquake. Windows would shatter, infrastructure would collapse, and power and communication systems would fail. If the impact struck a densely populated city, casualties could reach into the millions. Not a global extinction event, but enough to change the course of human history in a single day. 5. The more terrifying scenario, an ocean impact. At first, it might sound fortunate if Apophis didn't strike land. But in reality, 75% of Earth's surface is covered by water, making an ocean impact far more likely. And that could be the more frightening scenario. When an asteroid hundreds of meters wide slams into the ocean at tens of thousands of kilometers per hour, it doesn't just create a massive water plume. It transfers an enormous amount of energy into the sea, forcing water upward and generating colossal tsunami waves that radiate outward in all directions. Unlike tsunamis triggered by earthquakes, these waves would carry energy directly from a cosmic collision. Coastal cities where much of the world's population lives could face walls of water rising dozens of meters high. The destruction would not stop at national borders. It could become a disaster on a global scale. 6. Compared to a mass extinction, how small is Apophis? About 66 million years ago, an asteroid roughly 10 to 15 kilometers wide struck Earth, creating the Chicxulub crater and wiping out around 75% of all life, including most of the dinosaurs. Compared to that planet killer, Apophis is only about 340 meters across, dozens of times smaller. And that difference matters. An object the size of Apophis is not large enough to trigger a global extinction event. It would not shroud the atmosphere in dust for years, nor cause a prolonged impact winter. But smaller does not mean harmless. It falls into what scientists call the city killer category, powerful enough to devastate a large region or even cause multi-continental disaster if it struck the ocean. The difference between Apophis and Chicxulub is not about whether humanity survives. It's about how much of history would be rewritten. 7. What could humanity do with early warning? Unlike the dinosaurs 66 million years ago, we don't have to simply look up at the sky and wait. If an asteroid like Apophis were detected early enough, years or even decades in advance, humanity could potentially alter its trajectory. We wouldn't need to destroy it. We would only need to change its path slightly. In orbital mechanics, a tiny shift millions of kilometers away can translate into a difference of thousands of kilometers by the time it reaches Earth. Several strategies have already been studied. A kinetic impactor to physically nudge the asteroid off course. A spacecraft flying alongside it using gravity to slowly tug its orbit. Even attaching propulsion systems to its surface. The question is not whether it's possible. The real question is, would we be willing to cooperate globally before it's too late? 8. 2029, a rare scientific opportunity. Osiris Apex. The Apophis encounter is not just a close call. It is a natural experiment, one that humanity rarely gets to witness. After completing its previous mission, NASA redirected and renamed the spacecraft Osiris Apex, sending it on a new journey toward Apophis. When the asteroid makes its close pass in 2029, the spacecraft will approach and study it for months. The goal is not to stop it, but to learn from it. Scientists will observe how Earth's gravity affects Apophis's rotation surface and internal structure. If tidal forces shake or reshape its surface, we may gain critical insight into how asteroids are truly built. That knowledge could be the key. Because next time we may not just be observing, we may have to act. Apophis will not strike Earth in 2029. But the event reminds us of something important. This planet is not untouchable. For billions of years, Earth has been struck again and again by objects from space. The only difference now is that for the first time in history, a species exists that is intelligent enough to see the danger before it happens. The question is no longer, do asteroids exist? The real question is, when the next one comes, will we be ready?